All right, well, welcome everybody. This is our first official meeting of what I'm calling at the moment Exploring Integrity. So the original plan for this kind of meeting was to explore the balancing out the power of profit and nonprofit type of organizations. But we're eventually going to get to that. But for the first conversations here, we're really going to be kind of exploring each other's lives, really exploring each other's connection to spirituality. That's something that we all have in common, and we're going to see how this progresses. So what this conversation is called in the integrity pattern is called an appreciation conversation. So what we're really focusing on is really listening to each other, practicing generous listening, reflecting back what resonates from what we hear each other say, asking clarifying questions if there's something that something that is confusing, or if there's a dissonance, or even if there's a disagreement. So what this does is it starts to establish trust within a group. And what we're doing is we're role modeling facilitative leadership, where everybody is equal. Everybody has a part to play in this. And really, the value that I'm hoping that people will get by watching this and by participating or communicating in this matter, that in this manner, is that it doesn't really matter what you do. It's more important about how we're being together, how we're agreeing to be together. So what I normally do to check in is I ask everybody to answer the question, how are you arriving and what are you bringing? So normally in a group setting, the questions are, who are you and what do you do? So what that normally does is it places roles on, it emphasizes on roles and representations, and I really want to get away from that. So it's not about trying to show people who you are or what you do. It's about how you're arriving, who are you as a person, and not who are you in your public persona. So I'll open the floor up for whoever would like to start. How are you arriving? Which can be a feeling. How are you feeling? And what are you bringing? And what that normally is what is your intention for tonight? Is there anyone who would like to start us off and jump in with how are you arriving and what are you bringing?
I could do it.
Okay, go for it, Nini.
Awesome. Okay, so it's very interesting because I think you asked me this question on the when we had our one-on-one, and
Hmm.
I'm arriving. I'm very excited. I'm very curious as to what this is going to be, and it's not so much what am I looking to get as far as checklist. I'm just curious what I can contribute because when you lean more into trusting your intuition, trusting God, whatever source, whatever that is to you,
Hmm.
it's not about sitting there in your mind analyzing how it's going to work and I need a plan, I need a system. Sure, you definitely set intentions. That's how you concretize that which is infinite. But the ability to lean back and say, hey, I'm just going to trust what this is, and I'm really curious how I can help to contribute and how I can make a difference. And maybe it'll just be by listening to somebody. Maybe I'll say something and it'll have an inspirational effect. Maybe someone will say something that'll have an inspirational effect to me, but it's just giving space of that balance between openness and intention. I'm very curious. Like, who are the people here on this call tonight? Who are souls that I'm going to touch? How is my mix, in the cosmic game going to be of service? What am I going to learn? All those things. So I think it's just a curiosity and just an excitement about it. I've been looking forward to this. I was telling my friends about it, like, yeah, I have my call with Michael tonight. Like, they're all laughing, like, okay, enjoy.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Nini. Are you complete?
Yeah, I think for now, let's just, start with that and just see what happens. If I get inspired, I'll say something else.
Okay, great, great. So, Lori, I saw that you wanted to jump in as well too. So, what I'm going to invite you to do, Lori, is just reflect back what resonated with you with what you heard Nini say, and if you have any questions for Nini as well, please feel free to ask them. But I'll let you do that, Lori, and then I'll let you go into your check-in after that.
So, okay. So hi, Nini. I'm glad that I'm getting to introduce you because we haven't had a chance to do a one-on-one yet. What I hear in your voice is enthusiasm, is excitement, is curiosity about what's going on, the mysticalness of this, the magicalness of this. I think all those things, you're just curious, excited, kind of see where things go, and excited, happy about it. That's the vibe I pick up from you. And I really, it's funny because so many of the words that you described are exactly what I described, how I'm arriving, excited, curious, because I haven't got to meet everybody and I'm excited to. So welcome to the group. And I'm bringing myself, I'm bringing my whole self, like my presence, my ears, my heart, to just listen when I can, and also like Nini contribute, and see, my student or my teacher, my both, or people in this group, what our roles are. Who knows when we'll find out. It's exciting. So I kind of share how Nini feels as well.
Great, great. Thank you, Lori. Nini, did Lori get that right?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And it's that balance of giving space yet setting intentions, that tethering of, I guess, the divine dichotomy, the back and the forth. And yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. And I think I just think probably all sort of sensing and giving it. I like the idea of giving things space to be, not over planning it, but not leaving it too loose either.
Yeah. Great, great. Thank you. All right, Lori, you're up. How are you arriving, and what are you bringing?
I'm arriving with the same things that Nini is arriving with, and I'm bringing myself, just coming and bringing in myself. And unfortunately, I can't see who I'm supposed to call on because I only see you. So I don't know who else is here.
Well, there's Beth and Becky. So
Okay.
I would invite either Beth or Becky to reflect back what they heard you say in your check-in, and then they can go into their check-in. So
Okay, so I really haven't talked too much really at all to Becky, so I'm gonna pass it over to her.
Okay. All right.
I also share an excitement I've been looking forward to tonight, to our first call, and a curiosity about what's going to happen now in our conversations. A little bit of anxiousness, a little bit of stress, but that's not related to this. That's how I'm arriving. And then I'm bringing also curiosity, and some excitement and openness.
Thank you. Do you want to speak to what is going on outside of this space that's that is causing that anxiety, Becky?
That's okay. It's kind of it's a lot going on right now.
Understand. As we go on, if you do want to share that, and I realize we're recording this here as well too, if you want to also talk about that offline at some point, please consider that an invitation as well.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, Beth. So I'll have you reflect back what you heard Becky say, and then go into yours.
I heard Becky say that she's curious and interested in finding out what's going to happen and how she can contribute to it. Even though it sounds like she's had a bit of a stressful day, she's ready and she's been looking forward to this. Becky, how did I do?
Yeah, that's on point.
Great. Good. I was going to say Nini and Lori pretty much stole my answers. You know, but I would say I'm arriving at peace today. I felt pretty much a big peace about this whole thing, and just willingness to just let go and see what happens, and see what I can learn and what I can contribute. I'm excited with the energy here, and this is cool, and just see what happens when we explore integrity. So we'll see.
Great. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, what I heard, what's still resonating with me as you were checking in was letting go, being able to let go and be open and be able to receive what each of us are contributing here tonight. So, and that's good because in these conversations that I've experienced, uh, I don't know how it's going to go. It's really not about it's not really about contriving a result. You know, it's really, especially in these opening conversations, it's really just about being with each other and really listening. But so yes, what I'm hearing is letting go, and you're excited about the energy, and I'm hearing trust. Am I getting that right? That I'm hearing that there's a level of trust here.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah, absolutely.
great, thank you. Yeah, I'm arriving a mixed bag at the moment. I am concerned that there's four of us here, and there's scheduled eight of us. So I'm concerned. So I'm gonna hold myself accountable for that because I'm hoping everybody's okay, and I'm hoping that there wasn't a confusion on the time. So there's that element going on, but I'm also very, very excited too. My team that I work with in the mental health field, we just had a very good experience doing suicide and bullying work with kids in the morning and teachers, counselors, and social workers in the afternoon. So we started out, and that was a paid gig, and we started out doing meetings just like what we're doing
Woohoo.
here tonight. So you know, it's pretty cool. What these conversations are is it becomes an amplifier. And what we're also doing as a result from our work on Friday, we have an opportunity to work with law enforcement and within the prison system as well. So that's something
Boom.
I've been wanting to do for a long time. And with my efforts and my interest in ministry, I'm really excited about that. So that's why, Beth, I'm also very excited about this conversation as well too, because when we had our one-on-one, you know, we talked about, you know, and I went to one of your talks about how, you know, the church is, you know, it seems to be dying, or that people are not as interested in it anymore. So that's one of the core themes that I'm looking forward to exploring here. So I'm arriving feeling excited about that, but also again concerned because I'm sad that we're not all here together yet, and that we can be present for each other, which is why I'm glad we're recording it. So I'm complete with that. And then Nini, since you started the circle, I'm going to invite you to reflect back what you heard me say, and if there's anything that resonates, you know, feel free to observe that, or if you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask any clarifying questions.
Okay, awesome. I was actually going to say, because when you were talking, I was getting intuitive clairvoyant hits, and I'm like, I hope he calls on me. And it's like, you must have gotten my telepathic message. And I'm like, okay, please, I got something to say here in regards to the people showing up. And I know this just from doing work in direct sales for a long time, is that, you know, when we set these meetings up, you know, we think, okay, I invited 8 to 10 people, whatever it is. And, you know, I've been in rooms where nobody has shown up, and that's been kind of my reality more often than not. Sometimes I get one person that's like, yay, celebrate. So the fact that you have 4 people out of what, let's say like 8 or 9, like that's actually awesome. And chances are it's the first meeting people have scheduled, because I know I was talking to Michelle and I connected one-on-one, and we were talking, and she thought the call was at 7. And I told her it was at 6, and she put it in her calendar. She goes, I'm so glad you're saying that. I would have missed the call. I would have been late, whatever. So I have a feeling people, they get tied up, they get caught up, they have good intentions. I'm thinking also about like Ray, like even though, okay, Ray is not on at the moment, like Ray seems very present. From all the posts I've seen Ray put up, there's a really strong presence and a strong accountability. So my intuition is that if these people haven't shown up, it's just because they ran into something. Who knows what's going on? And let's just hold space that maybe something happened. You know, the first time is always a little bit wonky, and let's celebrate the fact that these people did show up, but at the same time, give yourself a pat in the back that you gave yourself the permission permission to feel, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about it. That makes me a little bit like, oh, that brings all this negativity kind of back. You didn't say those words, but it's sort of like this negativity is reflected in my face. Like, what did I do wrong? And it's like, you didn't do anything wrong. This is how it goes. This is just
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
trigonometrically, the oscillating sine wave goes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's my reflection. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And I completely agree with you, Nini, too, because I just spoke with Ray a couple days ago, and I speak to Amy almost every day via back and forth TikTok messages. And thank you for confirming that about Michelle as well, too. So I'm sure they will be here. It's just a matter of there might be just something going on right now.
Yeah, just kind of, I've learned to say, obviously, when I'm getting like a psychic hit that's those bad intentions, I'll give that a voice. But, all the people in this group that I've seen just interacting here and there all seem to be coming from a place of how can I be of service? And, if they're not coming, something is going on. They're not going to just ditch class because they feel like ditching class. Something is going on. And let's just give them space to have that experience. And even though, it's okay, it's going to be recorded, so they'll see it in the recording, but let's give them the space to show up at their sacred time. And whatever it is they're going through, let's honor that, bless it, and give them the space to show up when they can and as they can.
Excellent. I agree. Thank you for that.
Could I add a little something?
Yeah, please do, Beth. Go for it.
Nini, first of all, that was really great. That was I learned something. So that was really profound and wise on your part. But I do want, just for Mike, I just want to say, I get you. I totally feel you. Like in September, I started my Bible study at a different day and time, and we had like 10 people the first day, and I was so happy. We're down to like 4. And I'm not going to lie, it hurts a little. I worked hard on this, but at the same time, just let's remember this. She's probably right. There's something going on. They'll be here when they get here. And B, not personal on your part at all. You're awesome. Yep. So, and I know it's not personal for me. There's, it's not like, oh, I hate Pastor Beth's Bible study. I don't think that's it. People just have lives. That's all, so nothing to be taken personally. We will get it all together eventually. Anyway, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Beth, actually, go ahead, Didi.
Sorry. I just want to say one thing about the personalization is that, because I do a lot of study with science, how the sciences, spirituality, math, how it all kind of intertwines together. So there's this thing called complexity theory, and complexity theory doesn't mean complicated versus simple. It just, we are a symbiotic system. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Yet the individual sum of our parts, which is our individual cells, have tremendous intelligence. So you have both things kind of going. So on the one hand, the whole human being has a sense of self, has an ego, has qualia, has an experience, which we have the ability to identify. I like this, I don't like this, which forms an opinion. Yet our individual cells, they have still the symbiotic intelligence, but they don't necessarily have an opinion, because if your stomach cell got mad at your mouth every time it ate something unhealthy, like, your body would be screwed. So being the case, the ego sense, the sense of self to take something personally, is something that the human being has that's unique to human beings. It doesn't mean that like an animal doesn't feel, or a plant or a rock doesn't feel. Of course they feel. They're the essence of God being breathed through God. But the human being has a special ability to have qualia, a sense of self with an opinion. So when we take things personal, it's all a reflection of us that we are projecting onto something else, which reflects our own, whatever it is that we're experiencing. So when we take something personal, oh, they're not showing up because Pastor Beth is stupid. They are not thinking that at all. And if they are, it's a reflection of them. They can't manage their own emotions and feelings, so they're projecting it onto you like a scapegoat, like a hologram. But really, in essence, it has nothing to do with you at all. Like, you're a kind person, a heart-centered person, trying to do something heart-centered, and if they can't resonate, it's probably because your opinion clashes with theirs, and it's nothing personal at all, if that makes sense.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And, and the other thing I would say, and I'm not going to say that this is the case in the people that are not here right now, but for me, if the folks really want to come to Bible study, they'll come. I learned that the other night. We had a fellowship dinner on Saturday. We had a record number of people because we were going to be remembering one of our members who departed a month or two ago, and even some people who normally won't show up because they supposedly don't want to drive at night, they showed up. And this says to me, if you want to be somewhere, you will make it happen. So I keep, worrying, should I change the time? Should I do this? Should I do that? I was like, set the time for whatever it is when you want to do it. And if people want to come, they'll show up. That's my approach to what I do at church right now, because I found out we've been catering to the people who supposedly don't want to drive at night. And then I asked one of my best lay people, can you give me a list of who these people are? And then she gave it to me, and I recognized out of maybe 8 people, only 3 do anything with us on a regular basis. Why am I catering to a bunch of people who aren't going to show up anyway, instead of catering to the other people who work and, are a little younger and can't come to things that are during the day? So I want to try to open it up a little bit to make it more inclusive so that everyone has a chance to show up. So anyway, that's my thought on that. And again, no reflection on why these folks aren't here. I'm sure there's, just something going on. But at the same time, it's a matter of priorities for me. You want to make it to Bible study, you'll make it. If you really want to be there, you'll come.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And
even
you don't.
And even if it's in a situation like this where it's recorded, they're still here with us. They might be able to review it later. But what often happens, and this is a dynamic I've often seen as well too, is that normally this kind of energy can hold 5 people. I mean, I kind of had it in my mind that maybe we'll have 8 or so like that, but these kinds of conversations, they do really to be able to give everybody an opportunity to expand on whatever they're thinking. Traditionally speaking, I always get a little nervous when it starts to get to be more than 5, because sometimes not everybody has their say. And when we're having a conversation that organically evolves like this, it's often commonplace that not everybody gets a chance to contribute. I mean, even at 5 of us right now, we still want to bring Lori back into it. We want to bring Becky back into it as well. So before I move on to the next piece here, because we're a half an hour in already. So Lori, did you want to add something? I saw that you had your hand up earlier.
I feel for you too. As a recovering extreme type A perfectionist. I also do my cards every day, and I got 2 cards today that I think are very interesting of my energy and your energy, Mike. And one was spiritual teacher, and so that's what we're doing, and we're trying to see where we are spiritually in our integrity. But the other card was let it go. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? It just said, let it go and things will happen. So my attitude today is everyone is here who's supposed to be, just like everyone else, and for whatever reason, other people are, and to just let it go. So I really feel like a 5-year-old. I'm singing that song in my head from Frozen. But like, that's what I feel like. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the people here. Who cares if the outline's a little different? This is life. Maybe this is our lesson. I don't know. But I'm glad we are here. And
yeah,
all I wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is how we adapt. This is how we adapt, and we deal with what is, not with the way, we planned for it or the way we would like it to be. So let's I'm going to skip ahead then, because the next part on today's conversation, the next part of the agenda was to introduce your buddies, but there's only one set of buddies here at the moment, so we'll table that for a little later. So let's go to the next part of the conversation, where Beth, Laurie, and Becky, you were in the conversation a couple months ago about the intersection of spirituality and mental health. Nini, we're going to introduce you to that to that conversation, and just to practice generous listening, practice reflecting, practice asking clarifying questions as well too. We're going to do what I call a question circle conversation. So I'm going to invite any of the four of you to answer the question, what are your spiritual beliefs and how have they served you? I'm going to give you, oh, there's Kylia. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or less. Let you expand on that thought. After you give your answer, I'm going to invite you to kind of back up, reflect on what you said, let it form a new question, and then ask it to somebody else within the circle. But before we do that, Kylia, welcome. Welcome. Can you hear me? All right.
Oh, I see now. Yes. Sorry, I was having like internet issues and then my phone died.
Got it. Yeah. We were talking. Actually, we're still missing Ray, Amy, and Michelle too. So there might be issues, and I know that the weather is a little funky
Yeah,
tonight
for
too.
Ray, it might be weather related because
Mhm.
especially with them being in the yurt, if
Mhm.
there's storms in Maine, they are like they have no access sometimes. So
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. So we all had a conversation where we checked in. So I'm going to invite you to check in as well. So the question that we normally ask is, how are you arriving? Which is, what are you feeling, or if anything happened within the day. Inviting you to express that and let us know how you're feeling. And what are you bringing? Which is really, what is your intention for tonight, for our time together? So I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I just
no,
wanted
it's
to,
fine.
bring you into, our circle
Yeah,
here. And
yeah.
how are you arriving? What are you bringing?
I am I'm arriving in a really like positive, slightly tired but positive space. Today's just been like a really good day, and I definitely am enjoying that. What am I bringing? I think my intention tonight is just to kind of get to know everyone, um, and like see where some of like maybe commonality or common ground lies,
Mhm.
and sort of just get a feel for everybody, and for everyone's kind of like own personal like ideas and things. Yeah.
Great, great. Anyone in the group like to reflect back what you heard Kylia said? And if there's any clarifying questions, I open that up to the rest of the group.
I'd like to reflect back. So, Kylia, nice to meet you. I don't think I've met you yet. My name is Nini, and it's funny because before you jumped on, Michael was expressing that he was a little bit nervous, like, oh my gosh, there are still a bunch of people that haven't shown up. It's sort of like a little bit just unnerving to me. And then he said, but setting the intention all is meant to go as it should. And I had reflected, we don't know why people don't show up, and it's not a personal reflection on anybody. It's just, I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure people have lives. We could have been the weather, all kinds of things, and that these are people that have chosen to be here. So if there's a reason that they're not here, I trust and give space that that reason is sacred, and just to hold the intention, not to take it so personally. Why did they show up? What do they have against me? It's like, it's nothing like that. Like you just said it. There are storms. You couldn't get on the internet. There's all kinds of things that we have tunnel vision. We don't necessarily take into account. Give that space that we allow people to have their experience and show up as they are in their divine timing. So it's like came on and sort of affirmed that line of thought. So I thought that was really cool.
It was very awesome.
Great, thank you. Lori, I just want to make a quick mention. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from your sound. So
sorry.
yeah, so I might put you on mute at certain points. If that happens, just unmute yourself when you're ready to talk as well. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to go into our activity, and I'll kind of talk you through it as you go. But I would like to ask, whoever wants to start off the circle, share with us what are your spiritual beliefs and how have they served you?
Did I go first again?
Lori just raised her hand too. So
Repeat
I see
it. Do you want me or do you want Needy to go first?
Go ahead, Lori.
Please
You're
go
up.
ahead.
Okay.
You're up.
You are up.
So for me, spiritually, I have learned that energy never dies because, oh my God, that was crazy. Is that the dog? I have learned that energy never dies. And so with that, people who I thought were dead, who I've found a way to communicate and be a medium, not just for myself, but for other people, it has helped really give faith and hope back to be able to communicate with people they thought they never could. And for me, to hear things I never thought I would hear, it has given such closure and peace to me. So it has really helped me also get excited about life again, because I'm an empty nester of 23-year-old triplets. And so single, divorced. And so I thought at this point in my life, God, what's left? And this kind of started, it's like I started over, seeing things completely different and learning things all over again. So it's really brought me to a really good place with really good people. And I'm so excited to like see all the different things that are out there, that just different gifts that other people possess. And yeah.
Thank you, Lori. So I'm going to let you take a pause, take in what you had just said. I'm going to open it up to the rest of us to give a 1 or 2 sentence reflection about what we appreciate about Lori or what she said. And the first thing I'm going to say is I am amazed and I'm very appreciative about how open, honest, and straightforward you are about saying you're a medium and that you have these gifts. So that's something that I'm really in admiration of with you, Lori. And I really admire your bravery and your straightforwardness. So that's my reflection. So I'll open it up to the rest of the panel here. What did you appreciate about what Lori offered just now?
I was grateful that she was willing to go first, and just for her vulnerability and transparency, because sometimes sharing that kind of stuff, and even just talking about death or things past it in general, can be really, really sensitive, especially with groups of people you don't know. So yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Becky, Nini, or Beth, do you want to reflect back to Lori what you appreciate about her or what she just said? And that's okay if something is still forming. As that energy is emerging, Lori, I want you to think of a question now that you would like to ask somebody in the circle here, and then they're going to go next. So it can be the same question, or it can be something that you feel inspired to ask anyone here that hasn't had a chance to offer yet, which is everybody, because you went first.
I'd like to put a question out to Nini, because I'm fascinated. I would love to hear what spiritual gifts she has, because it sounds like there are a lot, and I haven't met with her yet, and so I'm very curious. There's a lot of good energy, and I want to hear what she.
Great. So Nini, what are your spiritual gifts? And I'm going to give you 5 minutes or less to answer that, and then we're going to reflect back to you what we heard you say and what we appreciate and what resonates.
Cool. So actually, I am a starseed, and I don't know who's familiar with what a starseed is, but I remember my intergalactic. I say past life, but it's really parallel life because there's no such thing as space and time. So I'll just use past life, but a lot of these lifetimes are happening as it's happening right now, if that makes any sense at all. And I came to this my first time ever as a human and as a female. So I've often felt very out of place, in more ways than just one. And I went through my life having psychic knowledge, psychic gifts, and untold like wisdom and the math, the sciences, like you heard me talking about before, self-taught musician, artist, athlete, basically chef, scientist, mathematician, like you name it, I've tried it. And I always felt that I was a keeper of the truth, and I was actually angry at God for creating space-time continuum because I didn't trust in humanity. I said, no, humanity, you're giving them free will. God, are you out of your freaking mind? And God said, well, I'm sending you to the ground. We need the paradigm of truth down there. And you, my dear friend, need to learn to trust me. And it's kind of strange because on the one hand, my knowing of God is unwavering. I know that more than anything else in the entire universe. Yet I get so mad and I call BS all the time. So it's a strange dichotomy I've got. But the relationship, I'm not going to say it's love-hate. It's definitely love-love. But I give myself the permission to express the anger and frustration as it comes up. And I'm very open about it because I know other people probably feel the same, but they're so afraid, oh, God's going to hit me with lightning, or who am I to disagree with God, or I'm not good enough, and all whatever stories we tell ourselves. So, when people hear starseed, a lot of times they feel like, oh, this person doesn't have to work on human things. They have absolved the ego and they've obliterated and eradicated struggle, and they no longer need to deal with the mess of humanity. And I'm telling you, that's probably why I was cast to the ground when I was, because, I still have to take self-responsibility. I still have to work on my emotions. I have to work on, the dirty diapers in life, as if to say I'm not a parent, so I don't have kids, but you get the metaphor. And it's not about walking through, these mountains of grandeur thinking you're hot stuff. It's about really owning that humility and saying, hey, whoa, I'm going to help give you back to yourself. I'm a teacher of divinity. I'm never, ever going to tell you what to do. I'm going to walk my talk. And if you resonate, that's cool. And if you don't, okay, I send you love. And yeah, you might piss me off. That's part of life. And I got to learn to deal with that because that's my own unresolved stuff. But it's about being super transparent, and it's finding the alchemy in the mundane and trusting that intuition, even if it makes no sense whatsoever. So for me, it's about transparency. It's about really being very, very self-honest, being self-responsible, and never, ever, ever telling anyone what to do, just allowing myself to stand in my posture. And if you agree, cool. And if you don't, hey, that's cool too. I'm going to learn from your difference of opinion. So as long as everyone plays nice, tell me what you think. I want to learn from you too.
Thank you, Nini. I'm going to give you a moment to pause, let that integrate. And I'm going to let you spin into a new question that you can ask either Beth, Becky, or Kylia. But first, I want to open it up to everybody to reflect back what they heard you say and what they appreciate, what resonates. If they have a clarifying question, you can ask a clarifying question. But I personally really appreciate your transparency, and I appreciate that straightforwardness and how you take a concept like being a starseed, or you take an experience like being a starseed and say, this is who I am, take it or leave it. I love how you just kind of shatter that those barriers of conventional expectation by just being right up front about it. So I really appreciate that.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Did Nini say she was a star seed?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Starseed. Mm-hmm.
Could you explain, please?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nini, could you explain what a star seed is, please?
Sure. A star seed it's like a spirit that is in the stars, and they come from other star systems different than the ones that we're familiar with here on Earth. A lot of them are that are focused on traditionally are more highly evolved than humanity. So most of them that come to Earth come to help humanity. The star system I came from was very evil. It was very, very evil. What I saw there was some of the worst acts of evil that are beyond description. And it's not the traditional story, because most will say, I want to go back home to my loving planet. I did come from a loving planet. And when I went off for quote unquote a bike ride, I took my little spaceship and I went and took a little stroll in the system. I came back, my planet was blown up. This was a word I'd never heard of until I received the clairvoyant vision 4 years ago of what actually, I mean, I had kind of bubbled up visions my whole life, but when I actually said, show yourself to me, and I saw the whole thing, this thing called the shadow government, I'd never heard of it before, blew up my planet because they were peaceful and they were trying to eradicate God, eradicate divinity. So I got a little bit curious. I digressed a little bit, but no, the star system I came from was extremely evil. And my planet itself was peaceful, but it's beings from other star systems that come to Earth. They incarnate as humans, and most of the time it's to help humanity. It's to help them evolve. It's to help them step into their new, I don't want to say better or worse because those are judgmental words, but it's to help step them along in the journey. It's like if you look around you, you see all the bursts of technology, like you think that's a coincidence. It's like, no, there are forces working upon us now. If we let the forces get the better of us, people have these theories that AI is going to take over the world. And I can tell you, because in the star system I came from, there was technology that puts AI to shame. AI will never take over the world from what I understand. The only thing that'll take over the world is if we as human beings sequester our freedom of choice and become victim of circumstance, thinking that everything is, like the ignorance bliss, it's happening unto us. That's the only thing that'll take over the world, is if we shatter that responsibility. That's why when I say self-responsibility, it's sacred. So did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I have to say I've never heard of a starseed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that, Beth, too, because I talk to starseeds all the time, and I really would love to be able to integrate. We talk about it at Circle a lot too. I would love to integrate that idea, with more conventional ministry. So thank you for asking that question. Lori, you had your hand up. I'm sorry, you're on mute. Let me unmute you. Actually, you have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Sorry. A starseed, I am also one. I am sorry, Nate, that your experience just sounds, oh my God, awful. Mine is a little different. I don't remember, like, people have said that when you become a starseed, you sign a contract, and some people remember it, some people don't. I don't remember it. But I do. I went to an event, like an Awaken Expo, and I sat with someone and they told me that I am a starseed from a different planet, a different universe. And I looked it up and it made sense. And I was just like, oh my God. So I do believe too that I was sent here to make humanity better. I really do.
You, Lori.
I'm a big believer in what Nini's saying.
I appreciate that. And, the fact that people don't remember, it's like, I appreciate that too, because that's, I'm a very big believer in things like faith and trust, and the contingency, to put it in a logical explanation. Faith and trust is believing in something that your inner knowing knows, even if logic can never, ever back it up. Because if logic could back it up, there's no faith and trust. It's just, okay, it's obvious, you see it. But if you don't see it and you still believe it because your inner knowing knows, even though your logic does not, that's how the ego learns to be subservient to a higher power. So I appreciate that in you so much.